Players have reported to spring training, and we're going to be going over quotes from Ramón Laureano, Bleday, and Adrián Martínez, and I'm going to tell you whether or not we are buying or selling what they are telling us today on Locked On A's. How's it going, A's fans? And welcome to episode 531 of the Locked On A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, noted baseball fan Jason Burke, and today we're going to be playing buy or sell. Factor cap, I think is what the kids say. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, children. That would be mean. But we're going to see whether or not we are buying what these guys are selling to the media right now. And it's harmless. We're just going to have some fun and see if we are buying the work that they have put in this offseason. That's all. And also it's going to be enlightening to know what they've done this offseason to get ready for 2023. But before we get into anything, thank you so much for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube right now, hit subscribe. Why listen to the rest of the episode? Just hit subscribe now and just thank me later for that one. But if you're already subscribed, make sure to comment down below. Leave us a thumbs up, a little like as well, because that helps the algorithm for YouTube. Just help other other people that like baseball or like the A's, like yourself, find the podcast. So that is how you can help grow the podcast yourself. I am at @ByJasonB on Twitter. The show is at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. And you can also check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way. Whatever A's news happens, it's at Inside the A's. The actual URL is si.com/MLB/athletics. So type that in and do that. Or if you just go to on Twitter, just type in Inside the A's, at Inside the A's. Follow us, follow that over there. And then you never miss an article. And then you don't gotta also type in si.com/MLB/athletics. So it just makes it easier, I guess. But let's talk about some of these buy or sell candidates. We're going to start off with Ramón Laureano today. And he talked with Martín Gallegos of MLB.com and said that he has not had a regular spring training since 2019. And that is definitely something that I brought up just a couple of months ago, I think, on the podcast. I was like, maybe that's a reason why you could buy into Ramón Laureano. He hasn't had a regular offseason for a while. 2020 COVID season, that was a weird season for everybody. So it's not like just a him thing, but I could see that throwing somebody off of their game, especially coming off of a fantastic 2019 season. And then 2021 was fine. He got injured, but at some point, but he was fine. And then he got suspended a little bit later in the season. So the season was weird. Spring training was fine for him. 2022, they had the lockout. Everybody had the lockout, so it was just a weird, how do we condition ourselves for this season? And then also Ramón Laureano had 27 games left on his suspension, so he didn't even get to start playing regular season games until much later into the year. And that's going to mess with your timing and how you get ready for a season. So right now, he is very ready, I believe. And this is coming off of a season where he hit .211 with a .287 on base. He hit 13 home runs, struck out 27% of the time. Not a great season. Arguably his worst season in the big leagues. And so he took that. I think that Martín Gallegos said that he took 4 days off before reporting to Mesa. And then he's been in Mesa since. He's been there for 4 months getting ready for 2023. And now his teammates are starting to join him as well. And so that's kind of the quote, I guess. It's not necessarily a quote, but it's what he's been doing. Am I buying what he's selling me? And I mean, I don't know if he's going to be quite the 2019 version of himself when he hit .288 with a .340 on base. He hit 24 home runs, struck out 27.5% of the time. So a little bit better in the strikeout rate, but he's had better seasons with the strikeout rate. But I mean, by average, by on base, by home runs, that's his best season right there. And it's also roughly a full season for him. So that's kind of what he needs. And he also told Martín Gallegos that while he's been at the Mesa complex, he has been working on his strength, on his conditioning to get ready for this season. He's been taking some at-bats because the more at-bats that he takes, the more ready that he feels for a big league season. And so these are the things that he's doing right now. And he knows what he needs more than anybody, I think. And so if he believes that having a full spring training and having all of this time leading up to spring training is going to benefit him, I think that that's good. And I think that he's going to be okay. The one concern that I would have is if it doesn't lead to dividends immediately in spring training or in the regular season, does he start to question himself or something? He's a very emotional player, which is great. I love the passion that he plays with. But I'm speaking from experience. I'm kind of projecting on him. But if I put a lot of effort into something and it doesn't take off immediately, I'm like, well, crap, that stinks. And then I kind of get down on myself. So I'm projecting on him, but I'm hoping that that does not happen if he doesn't have immediate success. That's my only concern, because it's a concern for myself too. So I think that that's a great way to not just throw it at Ramon. I was like, no, that's me. I think I'm just writing about me right now and talking about me. So there's that. I think that having a full spring training is going to be a big catalyst for him to have a good, at least first half of the season for the A's, if not a full season for the A's. I've mentioned that he is a definite trade candidate for a while now, but the A's want him to rebound a little bit. And if he has roughly a good first half of the season with numbers that are like the ones that he put up in 2019, I could see him being a trade candidate as well. But I think that I'm buying what he is selling me, because he is motivated right now, and he's going to keep putting in that effort, keep putting in that work. He's already made sure that he's put in as many chips as he can into the health basket so that he can not be injured, not be dealing with a hip or, something along those lines later in the season. So I think that he's going to be okay. I'm buying what Ramon Laureano is selling me. I want him to return to that 2019 season form, because that guy was fun to watch. And I think that would be good for Oakland A's baseball. So I am buying Ramon Laureano. But coming up, we're going to be talking about JJ Bleday and whether or not I am buying what he is selling. So stay locked in, you guys. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on anything from money line to point scores to three-pointers drained. I don't know if you guys watched this over the weekend. The NBA All-Star Game happened. I didn't watch that at all. But I saw the highlights of Mike the Miz, the WWE wrestler, hitting a shot from mid-court to, I believe, tie the game. It was waved off and it didn't count, but oh man, I saw that everywhere for like a couple of straight hours on all platforms on social media. So that was fun. So if you had the over-under on Mike the Miz hitting a game-ending three-pointer, I guess you lost that one because it was waved off, but he hit it. So he's definitely going to say that he hit it on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, whichever brand he's on now. Anyways, plus, FanDuel even lets you combine bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay, so don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at @JasonB on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis. Whenever A's news happens, it's at Inside the A's or si.com/MLB/athletics for to make it easy for you guys, I guess. Just follow Inside the A's on Twitter. It's so much simpler that way. I tweet out all the articles from there. But JJ Bleday. Let's talk about JJ Bleday. He is the A's recent trade acquisition. They traded AJ Puck to the Miami Marlins. Got JJ Bleday back. He was a 4th-round pick in 2019. He's an outfielder. I think that both beat reporters are saying that they think that he's got a good shot at making the opening day roster. I've made my case for why I don't think he's going to, and it's not anything against him. I think that it's more so Christian Pache out of options. And I think that people are just down on Pache, and I get that because he wasn't good last year. But I feel like as a ninth inning or a late inning defensive replacement, at least get him some at bats, see if he can start working his way into some playing time. And build up his stock, because I don't think that the A's want to give him away for nothing. So I think that Christian Pache sticks around because the A's do not want to give him away for literally nothing, either a waiver claim or a trade for potatoes. I don't know. Maybe somebody will stock the vending machine. But so that's why I don't have JJ Bleday on my opening day roster. It's not anything against him. I think that it's just because he has options left, and maybe he needs just a few more at-bats in AAA. I do think that JJ Bleday will end up spending the majority of the season in Oakland. I just don't think that he's going to be there on opening day. Granted, we have not played any games, and position players haven't even officially reported the camp yet. So we got some time for me to change my mind here, but as of right now, that is what I'm thinking. But JJ Bleday had some quotes that he told Matt Kalihara of the Chronicle, and one of them I put zero stock in, and that is he hasn't felt this good since college. Zero stock for that one. I don't think that matters. He's 25. What? He was in college like 4 years ago. That's fine. Yeah, when I was 25, I felt great. Now I'm old and everything's awful. My knees, I need to stretch so much more than I do. Anybody else? No? Okay, so he told Matt Kalihara the jump from AAA to Major League Baseball was bigger than he anticipated. And for me, that doesn't make sense. For me, that speaks to the Miami Marlins, the organization that he is coming from, not preparing him for the jump from AAA to Major League Baseball, because that is wild. You feel like you would try and get some of your top prospects, your number one pick, the 4th overall draft pick. You would put some resources into making sure that guy's ready. They moved him very quickly. He was drafted in 2019, played a little bit, but his first full season was in 2021 at AA, and then he was fine. His on base was good, but he didn't hit for a lot of average, which some people put stock in, some people don't. And then he did well in the fall league, and then he got called up to AAA in 2022, and then he was in the majors. They rushed the crap out of this kid. He's 25. He's played 280 games, I think. Is it 280? It was a season and a half of big league ball. It was the equivalent. 240, I want to say. He has not played that many professional games. So I know that he's 25. Ooh, so old. But he doesn't have a lot of seasoning since he's graduated from college or got drafted out of college. That's one. And also, they didn't prepare him for the jump. So it's just a weird thing that I mentioned it when I talked about the Bleday trade last week. And I just thought that was a weird thing, and it kind of lended itself. That quote that he gave me, it lended itself. Or not, he didn't give it to me. Sorry, he gave it to Matt Kalihara. I read it to you. That's all. It lended itself to what I was already thinking. So I thought that was interesting. He also said, quotes, "It's a relentless league. There's 95 plus on the mound every night," and that's kind of what he was alluding to with, the jump from AAA to the big leagues. Is everybody throws hard here. You can't really work on anything when you're at the big league level. You might know what you want to do, but you can't go take a lot of swings because there's so much. It's a long day every day for beat writers, for baseball, for the players themselves, the coaches. It's a long day for everybody. The game starts at 7. Everybody's there at 2, and then they're there till midnight. It's a long day every day. So I get that when he says there's not a lot of time to work on stuff. And that kind of leads to something that he also told the Chronicle. It was one article, so I'm just pulling from this one article that they wrote. He said that he was dropping his hands a little bit, and he felt like he was dropping his hands a little bit, so he made some adjustments. And so that's what he's looking forward to in 2023. And am I buying that? I think that's probably gonna help. He said that it's also something that he's done in the past. So he's like, oh yeah, I felt that I was doing that, and now I'm not. Which is also another thing that the Marlins, wild that they can't develop hitters when they're just pushing them through every level of the minor leagues and, not preparing them for the major leagues, and then also not helping them make adjustments once they get there. That's just, Just seems like a recipe for success, don't you think? Weird that they had to trade a pretty good pitcher for a pretty good hitter. Anyways, yeah, so that's one takeaway is the Marlins. Yeah. So when you're saying, oh, he hasn't done anything yet, he's a dud, whatever, the Marlins seem to have not helped him very much in what I'm reading between the lines here. So that's something, I think. And so getting him out of that system could lead to some good things. Also, now he knows what he needs to do to have success at the big league level. Because he's been at the big leagues. I believe he played like 80 games at the big league level last year. And he didn't, perform terribly well, but his on base was good. And, he was okay. He had a good arm strength. He knows what he needs to do. He has been working this offseason to get to where he needs to be to have success. And I think that I'm buying it a little bit. I'm not like fully on board the Bleday train just yet, just because I'm not familiar with his characteristics and like how he speaks and how he does all those things. So like Ramón Laureano, when he's like, yeah, no, I've been here since October, basically since the season ended. I've been here training. You know who Ramón Laureano is, and you know that he means it, and that he is dead set on having a good season in 2023. Maybe it's so he can get traded. I don't know, but you know what he means by that. JJ Bleday, he's like, yeah, so this happened, I don't know. Maybe he was trying not to throw his old team under the bus, and that's what we came up with here. So I'm intrigued by JJ Bleday. I am not sure that I am buying it just yet. I need to see him in some spring training games. I think that that's what it is. I need to see him play before I am buying into him in 2023. That said, I do think that he's going to spend most of the season in Oakland because the A's probably going to make some more trades. And I'm not saying he's going to be there like 2 weeks into the season. I'm saying the majority. So by the halfway point, or roughly the trade deadline, I think that he will have a spot on the A's roster and play a decent amount. Let's say 300 plate appearances. I think that that's the over-under right now in my head. Is he going to get half a season? What's the over-under on that? So that's my take on JJ Bleday. I am intrigued. I think that the Marlins have not done him any favors, and I want to see what he can do in a different system with the Oakland A's. And I think that he's going to do well. AJ Puck, obviously going from the A's, where he had some success last year, but he's been dealing with injuries, over to the Marlins, where they have just churned out pitchers. It's probably going to be good for him. So JJ Bleday is going to have to improve a little bit for the A's, for this trade to look good for the A's. Because barring injury, like we saw with Frankie Montas, barring injury, I mean, this could be a pretty even trade unless one of these guys breaks out. So we'll see what happens there. But coming up, we're talking about Adrián Martínez, and he's been doing something that I kind of talked about. I was on the right track. I missed the mark, but I was on the right track, and I'm gonna gloat and then also say whether or not I believe in Adrián Martínez in 2023, coming up in just 1 minute. Today's episode is also brought to you by Built Bar. And what makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they are covered in 100% chocolate. That's right, real chocolate all over that sucker. And they come in unbelievably flavorful flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they are healthy for you. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't even have to wait around to get a box anymore. For years, since the inception of this podcast, we have been talking to you about ordering your Built Bars at Built.com. Now, you can just go to a local Walmart or a Sam's Club and just get some boxes over there. That's right. You can head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs, or if you're closer to a Sam's Club, and I mean, I am, but I don't know if you are, but if you're closer to a Sam's Club, you can go get a 13-bar box with some hit flavors like brownie batter and churro. You can thank me later. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. Thank you so much for making the Locked On A's your first listen of the day. For your second listen today, go check out Lindsey Crosby of Locked On MLB Prospects, because he's going to get you ready for draft season. The A's have the number 6th overall pick in the draft this season. So, and also college baseball just started this past weekend. And Zach Gelof's little brother, I believe his name is Jake, he's doing well. Are the A's going to draft him? I'm sure Lindsey Crosby has some thoughts about that. And also, he's talking to Evan Drellick, who wrote a scathing book about the Astros that came out last week. So he talked to him. That's going to be an episode that comes out later this week. And also, I believe that he just talked about the A's prospects just at the end of last week. So really, go check out Locked On MLB Prospects, because he knows what he's doing, and he's a good time. But let's talk about Adrián Martínez. And for those of you that have been listening to the show for the last 4 months, since Ramón Laureano has been in Mesa, you may remember that I said that Adrián Martínez needed to add one more pitch. Judging by what I was reading, or what I was seeing on his Baseball Savant page, it looked like he needed a two-seamer so that he could have his sinker that would go down, and then a slider that would go one way, a two-seamer that could go the other way, and then coming out of the tunnel, he would have an offering that could go one of 3 different ways, and that would be a good way to go about things, I thought. So I was on the right track. I was thinking tunneling and doing all that stuff. Apparently, I was kind of right, kind of wrong. So here's the quote from the Chronicle that really stood out to me, I think. Quote, Martínez focused on staying online toward home a little bit longer, using the ground to stay behind his fastball better, which hopefully makes his slider and changeup that much more appealing to the hitter as everything tunnels down the same lane. End quote. Apparently, he'd been falling off towards first base, and he wasn't finishing his pitches, which means that all of his pitches were not staying in the tunnel, which means that they were easy to decipher from one another, which means he was getting hit. And I mean, he finished with an over 6.35 ERA, something like that. Right in there, 6.3 something. And when you're not tunneling, that's kind of what happens. And he has the best vertical movement on a changeup in the big leagues. And I think that he still has some tools. It's about execution for Adrián Martínez, and I'm very excited to see what he can do with that. Batters hit .338 against his fastball last year. So if he's working on his mechanics and his delivery, and batters aren't going to hit .338 against him anymore, that's a good sign. Also, they only whiffed 13.5% on his fastball. So for something that you're throwing that much, maybe not. Not a fastball, it's a sinker, technically. Anyways, is he going to be better? Yes. I think that he's going to be better because he had a pretty bad season last year, and he's addressing the issue that both he and the A's saw, and he's been working on that this offseason. How much of an impact is it going to have? That is up for debate. I'm going to have to see it in play. TBD, if we're being honest. But I think that he still starts the season in Las Vegas, just because who's he going to kick out? I mean, even if James Kaprielian is out, maybe he could beat out like Muller, but I don't. If he's dominating, sure, but I think that there's too many guys ahead of him on the depth chart right now. He'd have to really have an amazing spring training to make the A's opening day roster for me, I think. But I think that he could put in some time and execute his pitches, execute his delivery in Las Vegas for a month, maybe 2 months, and then he could earn his way back up to the big league level. Because I still like Adrián Martínez. I'm not like high on him, but I'm intrigued by what he can do if he can put it all together. And I want to see him start putting it together. And he's going to be pitching for Team Mexico in the WBC. I'm intrigued to watch him do that. Is he going to be starting? Is he going to be relieving? I think that they were going to get him up to like 60 pitches by the time that he leaves A's camp. And goes over to Team Mexico to go play in the WBC. So we'll see how much he's throwing and all that. But I'm intrigued by Adrián Martínez. I'm not sure that I'm buying that he's going to have an amazing season, but I think that he will. I mean, he's going to be better than he was last year. He's also going to be 26 this season, so that's kind of cool. I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. Anytime you talk about tunneling and, which is kind of sorcery, it's the stuff that you see the pitching ninja do all the time, where it's, the overlay videos, where it's like, oh, this one goes this way, and this one goes this way. And Like, how does anybody ever hit a baseball? Well, when you don't tunnel it like Adrián Martínez in 2022, that's how people hit baseballs. So if he's tunneling better, I think he's got the repertoire to have a pretty good season. Maybe even a league average season. I think that might be the bar for this year. If he can make 12 starts, let's say 12 starts for the A's in 2023, if he's league average, I think that's a huge win. And I'd be scared for the league in 2024 because he's coming. He's coming, folks. So that is my take. I'm buying, and then I'm kind of on the fence with the other two guys. But I'm buying Ramon Laureano coming to play in 2023. Adrián Martínez, I think that he's going to be good. I don't know how good, but he's going to be good. He's going to be a lot better. I like it. Also, Adam Muller. I like pitchers. I like all the guys that the A's have. They're intriguing. They have a lot of interesting guys, and they're going to give a lot of these guys a lot of run. So we'll see what happens there. I buy that the Marlins may have tried to screw up JJ Bleday. That's what I'm buying with JJ Bleday. So I want to see what he does with a bat in his hands with the A's. See what they have him working on. That's what I'm buying. So that's buy or sell for today. As more quotes come through, maybe we'll keep doing this. Let me know if you guys like it. If you need me to be more or not. I don't know. I don't know even what that meant, but anyways, that's all that I got for you guys today. Coming up tomorrow, we're going to talk about some more things. It'll be fun. We'll have a good time. If there's anything you guys want me to talk about, let me know down in the comments below. And also, if you have just a nice thing to say, I'll mention you on the show next time. So comment down below if you're on YouTube. If you're not, just leave us a nice little rating and a review on your podcast platform of choice. But that's it for me today, you guys. So until next time, go out and celebrate good times, A's fans, and I will talk at you tomorrow.